show it, is it? Did Junko have nails? Like red nails? I don't remember. Anyways, all the wounds covered in her body, that's what really killed her. Hey, now hold on a second. You did read the Monokuma file, right? The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. It made it pretty clear those wounds were made at least a few days ago. So they can't possibly be what killed her. Considering this, what if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago? What? What if, when we discovered her body, she'd already been dead for several days? If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old. That doesn't make any sense, because she had all those wounds before she came here. How do you know that? Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you're wrong. She denied me before I could even say anything. Come on, I mean, you think, I'm not weird, okay? At least listen to what I have to say before you deny me. If you're so sure we're gonna deny you, why bother saying it in the first place? Make your argument. Group photo, interview DVD, or profile, handbook, Monokuma control room. Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. He must have been in 100 different battles. So when you think about it, obviously she'd get... okay, are you finished? You didn't deny me this timesy-wimesy. You made me go all cutesy. Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it. No, those wounds didn't come from the battlefield. One look at what was written about her, and that should become clear. Yeah, I remember. I forgot where we heard it, but she wasn't. She didn't have any wounds when she came here. Yeah, according to the headmaster's report, Mokuro did not have a single scar or wound when she came to Hope's Peak. Okay, yeah, so that was her profile. And we probably need to shoot. Oops. That one. Can we hit it? Yeah, got it. Counter. No, Mokuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said as much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered the school, she hadn't sustained a single injury. To be denied so completely, actually, it's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because all of Master's training. Anyway, so we can be sure that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school. In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her. As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, after examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead. Unless anyone has better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mokuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her. Mokuro's fatal injury has been added, okay. But if that's what killed her, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long? That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days. So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. If Makoto had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her. So, who was it that attacked you? The identity of the one who attacked me, I can't think of anyone else. It was Mukuro. If Mukuro had been dead for several days, no. Well, I don't know. I better think about this again. No, it was her. It's just the body that we found. The dead body isn't Mukuro, right? Mastermind, I guess. The one who attacked me was the true mastermind. naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me, but I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind. What are you laughing at? Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in. Let's start off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption. You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask. The true identity of the masked attacker is Makoto Ikusaba. At least that's what I think. That's what I think as well. Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise? No, there's no way Makoto is the one that attacked me, even if I didn't see their face. Makoto had a very obvious Fenrir No, she didn't. It's not there. Makoto had a very obvious Fenrir tattoo, comparing that to the masked attacker. It's not there on the thing, right? It should have been obvious. Monokuma file number 5. Okay. You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Makoto Ikusaba. You're wrong, even without seeing their face. There's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her. Oh, and what is this other part? Is it the right hand? There is the right hand. Or perhaps the left foot. Or could it be the hips? Her most notable feature, the tattoo that marked her membership in Fenrir. That tattoo was in a certain easy to spot area. It's in the right hand. Okay. Ah, crap, got blocked. Damn it. Okay. Okay, we gotta take this. Okay, and then we can just speed through the rest. Alright, hopefully we don't get blocked this time. Boom, there we go. So maybe I am wrong about the dead body being Junko's. Makoto had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir, in other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me. And there was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Makoto. Yeah, well, okay, you got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, someone else, right? Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night. Yeah, we were in the gym tearing you apart, so it couldn't have been any of us. Okay, sure, it couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye? If you insist, I don't mind showing you. Show me what? Oh, she's gonna show us her hands. What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me. Before anyone else could say anything. She's taking off her gloves. Kyoko was removing her gloves. Your hands. Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burned skin. Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced. I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars. If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me. Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. Then she put her gloves back on. My scars should suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine? No, not at all. I'm positive. Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind. This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings. Not at all. You can say whatever you want. Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown. That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning. On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that. You're not gonna tell us she was you're not gonna tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you? In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here. Then somehow she was killed in secret, without any of us knowing. And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she? If she was, she would have been totally decomposed, just like your brain. Then she was being stored somewhere. But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere, there's only one place. I can't think of anywhere else the body could have been stored. The biolab. Mokuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab. The biolab, you mean on the 5th floor? That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue, so it's the perfect place to hide a body and to keep the body preserved at the same time. Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden, and I have no doubt that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof. The proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden. There's something that made its way from the biolab to the garden. The tarp. What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp. Oh, it says biolab. Holy cow, how'd you notice that tiny little thing? Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing. This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there. So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it, as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards. Wow, you made everything sound so amazingly consistent. But that's just a wild guess. Where's your evidence to prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved? There's no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say? Worked up. Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it? Are you talking about unmasking the mastermind? You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency, one so major it can't be overlooked. An inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about the number of freezers that were on? La 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 la. I can't hear you. La, 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 la. Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him. I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about? Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one other thing? What one other thing? What do you think I'm talking about? Your family. What? Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay? Oh, why are you bringing that up now? Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed? Stop talking about that. Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset. Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. this again. Biolab parts. Boom. Yeah. The number of lights on the freezers don't match up. The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights. What are you talking about? What about the lights? Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored. And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on. In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot. But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mokuro was in, and there were only 9. Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man. 9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be on it is 10. 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious. Suspicious? Why? That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear. That's right. That's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth. Then Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was eighth. Sakura was ninth. And victim number 10 was Mukuro. So 10 people in all. That's right, any other number should make you immediately suspicious. I knew it. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there. You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared? I got it. The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence. But if they wanted to do that, they could have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone. Then, whose body disappeared? It may very well be that none of them disappeared. But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match up? Because Mukuro is still alive. Including Monokoma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths. But there are only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders? The reason there are less bodies than murders, the explanation for more murders than victims, is that what would it take for that to make sense? Yeah, the same person was killed twice. What about if the same person was killed twice? Killed twice. Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered and then murdered again. Murdered and murdered again. If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right? Technically, you're right, I guess, but still, something like that could easily have happened. No, it is what happened. Sounds like you're already convinced. Then, can you tell us who was killed twice? It was fucking Junko. Like, I knew it. The proportions match up. It was Mukuro. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikasaba, she was killed as someone else. And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden. No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else. Come on. Besides, who could that someone else have even been? All you have to do is look at the bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious. Nothing's gonna become obvious because Kyoko's totally delusional. Am I wrong? No, it has to be Junko, right? Like, okay. Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? No, it was Junko. Yes, Junko. Chihiro Fujisaka, Mondo, Owada. No, why do I have Leon? No, it's supposed to be Junko. Or maybe Sakura Ogami. No, there's no way. else who suffered the same sort of injury. Okay. Junko. Okay, we'll speed through this. Junko. Counter. Alright, Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's? What do you mean? Yeah, she was stabbed. Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears all over her body. And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered, then the similarities match. Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same. So let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba. I knew it. It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries. Then it's really true. Mukuro and Junko are the same person. I don't think they're the same person. It's just Mukuro used Junko's dead body to fake her own death, right? Wait, so then, what does it all mean? It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9, which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive. Yeah, and that's the true identity of the mastermind. Who is it? Who's behind all this? We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive. Yeah. She took Junko's body. I knew it. And made it look like she was the one who died. So it seems like I was kind of correct. But the reasoning is kind of different. So the reasoning they're using here is like the stab wounds. But the reasoning I used was the body proportions. I don't know if that's still gonna come up later, but yeah, it kind of seems like I was right. It's just why I was right was a little bit different, but I was still right. I'll take it. So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be. Total silence. Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I? Mukuro alive. Then the one that's still alive is Mukuro. But can we really believe that? No, there's no way. There's no way Mukuro Ikusaba is still alive. No, she has to be. Am I wrong? Make your argument. Ah, come on. The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro. Then she's still alive. That's right, she made it look like Junko's body was her. That's what I'm thinking. Am I wrong? So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro. What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up? For that to be true, then that couldn't have been her body we found in the garden. Is that really possible? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. Oh, is it that? Okay. Counter. Yeah, I think Toko's right. I think Mukuro's still alive and that wasn't her body. No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's the one thing we can be sure of. Then, did Junko somehow fake her death or something? The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with the records. Right, Kyoko? She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. I thought she was 5 foot 7. Here it says she's 5 foot 7, and that also matches up with Junko's. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse. And Someone made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. I don't know. Like, holy shit. I mean, I would think it'd have to be Junko, right? Because, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's Sakura or one of the guys, right? I'm gonna go with Junko. She's the only one whose proportions kind of match up. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility. Are you sure about that? Huh? I admit, since Mokuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would have had some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not? Now that you mention it. I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for a pulse like they do in movies and stuff, but she really is dead. I did check, absolutely, and I can say for sure she was dead. There's no question Junko was dead. So the idea that she's still alive, it must be wrong. Then you're withdrawing your previous statement. I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Too bad, too bad. The case hasn't been decided just yet. Oh, you haven't given up already, have you, Makoto? No, of course not. There's no way to give up that easy. That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mokuro absolutely died. But that doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. So somebody's faking their death, right? Oops, not presents. Let's go over the report card. I mean, it has to be one of the girls, right? Maybe Sayaka. Maybe. I just. No, she was dead as well. I feel like everybody could have. No. Maybe Celeste. Maybe when she was punished, she actually survived it. I feel like it would have had to maybe have been somebody who was punished. I don't get it. And if y'all understand it and see it, y'all must be screaming at your screens. Just screaming at me. But I'm sorry, I really thought it was Junko. Or I thought Mukuro was still alive. And she used Junko's dead body. Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story. I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction. The opposite direction. Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived? How could Junko have survived? I checked her, she was dead, I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, could it be that Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Oh, maybe it was her. I don't. Ah, respiration. No, replaced. Let me see. Replaced. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else? Switched places. That's right. Before the spirits could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba. Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up Junko who got stabbed to death, right? Yeah, you're saying they switched. When could they even have done that? Right when she was about to die, like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique. Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong. There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched. Switched at the beginning. The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning. What? From the beginning? Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro. But why switch just to, like, get yourself killed? Hold on, so you're saying the Junko we first met was actually Mukuro all along? Then we'd already met her. I had, like, a normal conversation with her. When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko. And we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning. Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she? She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. And she did. It likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished. Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time. But if she really did use foundation, correct, even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore. Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning? If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan, to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko. The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together. So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was the ultimate despair. What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back? I think he's just afraid. Afraid? What's that mean? Afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me. Then why haven't you been saying anything? Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity. As if. Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity? I tried to protect her identity. When did I do that? So he still refuses to admit it, but he can try to deceive us all he wants. It doesn't matter, because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity, and not just once, but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation. Was it? Oh man, I no idea. Oh, was it that? Okay, and I don't think this is what I need to go on. Okay. He tried to hide Junko's identity not just once but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation. Damn. What's this? Bare collection of wounds covering her body. Maybe the profile. Ah, damn it. I have no idea what he's asking for. He tried to hide Junko's identity. Not just once, but twice. How is he trying to hide? This connected to Mokudo's are the garden and dojo. Was it that? Telling us what inside it comes. That's the boat. That boat and the blood reflected after death. Oh, was it maybe that? The interview? Yeah. While I was in the AV room watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster, yeah, he shut it off. It wasn't just the monitor, the DVD player itself had apparently turned off, which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened? Oopsie, looks like it broke out of service. What? It just happened to break just now. Okay. You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that. And we will continue next episode. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Man, I was really sure that Mukuro was still alive and that the body was Junko's. But it kinda looks like it's the opposite, with Junko still alive and the body being Mukuro. What I don't understand is why would they switch just to have Mukuro die like right away? Like, why would she sacrifice herself for that? I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time